Hello guys, welcome to Sociocultural ASPE screencast. Today's topic is going to be on violence in sport. So what we have to do is segregate into four separate areas, which are really two areas. So what we have is we look at player violence first of all. So things that we see on the pitch every weekend on the TV. We've just looked at media in sport. We get to see pretty much all the times now that players are violent. What we have to look at is the causes. What is it that causes these players to be violent? Secondly, what are the solutions? How can we prevent player violence? Then we move on to spectators and we have a look at the causes of spectator violence. So what is it that makes fans violent? Secondly, we'll have a look at solutions to spectator violence. So going on then, okay, so start off then. So first bit is going to be causes of player violence. So starting off, I mean, one of the key things is frustration. So if I said to you quickly now, what causes a player to be frustrated? For example, things like poor refereeing decisions can lead to a player being frustrated and then being violent. You could also have a situation whereby you're frustrated with your own performance, so that can be an example of that. Weapons. Some sports ideally lend themselves to kind of implements that are kind of very similar to weapons. For example, you play in baseball, you have a baseball bat. Okay, you could use that. You play in hockey, you have a hockey stick. You could use that to hit someone with. So some sports have kind of implements within the kind of equipment that kind of lend themselves to violent behaviour. Moving on. Okay, some sports, okay, dehumanise the opposition or kind of yourselves. So we've talked about this before. For example, equipment, e.g. padding in American football, encourages violence. We've talked about this before, easy one to remember. Okay, going on from that, causes, you've got nature of the game. Okay, so obviously certain games are more likely to influence or kind of encourage violence. For example, things like rugby or American football are more likely to be violent than crown green bowling. Okay, but due to the contact element of the game. Emotional intensity, sometimes you get people who become very emotional due to certain things. So for example, you might have some people who have anger management problems, e.g. Luis Suarez biting someone in a football game. Okay, that's one example you could use there. Okay, there's your causes. The ones I've kind of highlighted will give you 5 marks. We'll try and keep it simple on this. This was a 10-mark question in 2013 summer. Okay, so there's been 2 exams since. If it comes up, it's probably going to be a 5-mark question on causes or solutions on either player or crowd. Okay, so player violence. So we've all seen now things have changed huge in the last kind of 30 years. So if a player is now caught being with misconduct or acting in a violent manner, there are certain ways now, solutions to that. So if you have a quick look on here, technology. So due to kind of multiple cameras, okay, around the ground, this could then lead to kind of what do they call it? So, I don't know, a retrospective action. So, for example, the FA will study a video, okay, because they've got so many cameras at the grounds nowadays, they'll study videos and they can give retrospective punishments after the event, okay, they can enhance or make the ban longer. Okay, change rules. So, for example, for violent conduct, you could change rules to increase time out. For example, Luis Suarez had a 10-match ban for violent behaviour, biting. Then you've got punishment. Okay, so punishment, let's leave that one because it's a bit similar to this. Education, so you can start to educate, so you can have anger management courses for people. Punishment here, I suppose if we did come back to it, let's leave that one because it's so similar to changing the rules. Officials, so looking at officials, so basically you can have more officials. So for example, in kind of Champions League or Europa League games in football, there are now up to kind of 5 officials. Okay, rather than having the old 3 officials. Okay, you also have like an official on the side. So the more officials you can have, this can help prevent violent conduct because there are more eyes being able to see the game at that one point. So hopefully you've got some key bits on there that we can use. And also, I suppose you've got kind of, I've said here, this education, anger management or kind of anxiety management techniques could be used, like for example, self-talk or mental rehearsal. So 2 things you put there, education in relation to anger management, and also you can look at a kind of I suppose anxiety management or anger management strategies such as mental rehearsal, self-talk. Moving on then. Okay, so we're going on crowd violence. Huge problem. 20, 30 years ago, one of the biggest kind of societal problems in Great Britain. Okay, football violence was huge. It was a culture. So basically, what happened? What causes it? What are the key things behind people becoming violent when they're in a crowd at a sports fixture? Causes, one of the key causes is alcohol. Alcohol and drugs, if you put those as a two, okay, why? Because people lose their inhibitions, therefore they are more likely to be aggressive. If you come down to here, it leads to this kind of mass culture, okay, where people follow others who are being violent because you're in a group. Okay, so you conform to the group's norms. If you're in a group of people, it's usually males, and they will then become aggressive. If you're in that group, you conform to the norms of the mass culture, the culture of the masses, the culture of the group that you're in. Okay. Other causes is the rise, or certainly the groups of hooligans. Okay, so for example, you've got each football team might have a certain group, and they have a name. So you have in Birmingham City, will be known as the Zulus. Okay, as an example. You could also have looking at things like pre-match hype. So I'm going to link this to rivalry. Okay, so can you put for example, same city rivalry, Liverpool versus Everton. You could have Liverpool versus Manchester United. You could have Birmingham City versus Aston Villa. Okay, you've got all of these things. This pre-match hype linked to rivalry, which is huge. Okay, so that'll be that for that. Score if your team's losing. Okay, that could also be an example. So you will put score down as one more. Now going on to what are the solutions to it. Now it's been a massive change in football safety for fans over the years. So one of the key things and the key focus is it's promoted now as a family event. Okay. Secondly, there is CCTV all around the ground. So if people are caught, okay, so basically CCTV means that more people can be caught being violent. Okay. Then if you go down to here, punishment, if you are now caught involved in ground violence, punishment can be now, you can have lifetime bans from stadiums. Okay, so if anybody saw the pictures of Chelsea fans racially abusing someone on a train, this basically led to them having lifetime bans from all football grounds. Okay, so that's something they've done. Another way that people have done is they have separation of fans. So basically fans are segregated into different areas. Okay, there's a control of alcohol. So that means that now you can only have alcohol before the game, and in half time you can't drink during a game. And also, one of the key things, it's not on here, but I'm going to ask you to put it on top, is that you get now we have what's called all-seater stadiums. Okay, before that, I used to have stands, and because they're all-seater, one of the ideas behind all-seater stadiums was it would help with crowd safety after crowd disasters from fighting at the various grounds. So if you can get those points in, I know there's quite a fair few things, but they're not hard, are they? Let's be honest, they're not. It's not complex. So I need your core now and split into 4 subheadings: player violence causes, player violence solutions, crowd violence causes, crowd violence solutions. Okay, make sure you have questions alongside. So don't be lazy, because we need this lesson to go smoothly tomorrow. Okay, thank you.